Another Wednesday, another Carnage Unleashed podcast. How you guys doing today? Let's start with Connor.
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to be here, and all the stuff that we got to talk about today, I'm pretty pumped. So it's good to be back.
Awesome. Kev?
I am ready to relive this weekend. It all went by in a bit of a blur, fellas. So luckily, we have the tape available because that was a lot of fights to watch in just over maybe in 24 hours. We got a lot done on Friday and Saturday, so I'm real excited to crack these open and talk about our very short Saturday evening, right, Zach?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I mean, I know there wasn't a whole lot of fights in the card, but I expected it to go a whole heck of a lot longer than it did. We had 0 judges. We had only one fight go to the third round the entire night. That's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
And it was the main event. All the other ones were done the first or second round.
Yeah, I was saying, 2 even went to the second round, right?
I
can't remember. I can't remember if
2.
Yeah,
Yep,
2. 2 went past the first round. Crazy.
Speechless. I mean, I'm speechless on that. It was a great. I mean, if you're a fight fan, it was a great night if you like finishes because that's what you saw: submissions, taps, TKOs. The only thing we missed was a flat-out knockout. That's the only thing we were missing.
I think the universe was aligning because Canelo and Crawford are fighting that night too. So we just give you some good finishes, get back, and you go watch some boxing.
Nah, they wanted Kevin and I to be able to go home and be disappointed by Notre Dame losing by 1 point because Tyler Buckner again is screwing us by muffing a kick.
Oh wow!
Welcome to Notre Dame
keep
world,
your
right
expectations low, gang. Then you can't be disappointed. Just like today, I was pleasantly surprised when the Cubs made the playoffs. You know why? Because I don't have faith in them. I don't expect them to win anything, so I barely watch. And then when they win and they go to the playoffs, heck yeah! Guess what? Wouldn't you know it? I get just as happy as I did when I used to live and die with every season. It's a tricky little game you can play where if your team sucks, you can just tune it out, Zach. You too can get your Saturdays back if only you would stop letting those poor Fighting Irish break your heart week after week.
I can't, but I've done that with my Dallas Cowboys. I'm done with them until Jerry Jones finally kicks the bucket, which will probably be, I don't know, with all the money he's got, probably another 25 years. So when I'm in my 60s, I might be able to enjoy the Cowboys. Maybe.
He'll be around in Fallout. He's gonna be like Mr. House. There's gonna be a Jerry Jones robot running around.
Anyway, well, let's get started. Let's go over this. So, first fight of the night: Austin Roberts versus Tobias Mendoza. They came in fighting at 155. This was done in the first round, TKO by Tobias. What was your guys' thoughts on this? We'll start with Wade.
Yeah, I thought Austin was going to put up a little bit more of a fight and work to his ground game and stuff. But yeah, Tobias came in there with a game plan and ended it quick to start off the show.
Yes. Yeah, yes, he did. He did. Connor, what were your thoughts on this bout?
I thought it was a good way to open the show. Guys both came out heavy-handed, swinging, trying to get a knockout. And then I did expect Roberts to fight more off the ground after he took that shot, and Tobias kind of sprawled on it, ends up getting his back. There was a lot more work I would have liked to see Austin do to try to get out of there. There's some things he could have cleaned up to, defend himself and let the fight keep going, but Tobias took advantage of it and got himself a good little victory Saturday night.
Yeah, it was a great opener. That's all I can say. I love seeing openers where there's a finish in there. It just sets the tone for the rest of the night, and it's exactly what Austin and Tobias did on that first one. Kevin, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, about the same. I mean, we had some dirty boxing in there. So we got some knees thrown. They were in close quarters pretty much throughout the entire bout. And like Connor said, at one point, Austin went for a takedown. And I wonder if that was a reaction takedown. I went back to watch it, and I was trying to look. I'm like, did Tobias just clip him good? because it seemed like it was a reaction takedown that Tobias just kind of stepped out of the way and then was able to grab his back and then was finding the angles, keeping the punches active. So, yeah, I expect that we'll see Austin Roberts back again soon, and we'll see him if he gets his momentum back. And yeah, Tobias looked great though. He capitalized on the opportunity and made the ref call that fight early when, like Connor said, there could have been an opportunity for that to keep going. So we'll see what Austin brings to his next fight when he comes out of the lab, because one thing we know is we'll see him again. It won't be long. He's a gamer. He's ready to fight. So I expect to see him again soon. Not an easy task to set the tone, but these guys did a great job, and luckily, Zach, everyone else followed suit.
They did. Yeah. Going into the next bout, the second bout of the evening, Carson Albin versus Travis Jenkins, a heavyweight bout. So I thought, we're gonna see some leather throwing, some heavy hands, kind of a fight. But it was not that. It did not start that way. This was ending with a TKO in the second round, and it was a very slow-paced fight to start off with. Connor, let's start with you, man. What were your thoughts on this bout?
Yeah, I was intrigued in this one. I've seen Carson fight before, but then obviously I haven't seen Travis yet. So there's always that that variable of the unknown. But like you said, with the heavyweights, you're expecting dudes to just come out swinging. Those big guys don't want to fight for 9 minutes. They're trying to get it over in 9 seconds. So I was expecting to throw heavy hands, but they were both very calm and calculated, looking for their openings. But I think the difference maker was Travis in his right hand. He was landing that a lot, and he was counter punching Carson very well, making Carson coming over top with that right hand. And I believe that's even the punch that set up the TKO. He rocks him with the right hand, gets him up against the cage, works some good shots off the cage, and then ends up getting himself a good victory. I was impressed with Travis. Like I said, that was a fun heavyweight fight, but a technical, calculated heavyweight fight, which you don't get to see that much. So I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, exactly. You don't see that much, especially at the amateur level with the heavyweights. Kevin, what were your thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, a lot of the same. We saw that on commentary too with Travis. He was finding a home with that right hand. For Carson, I definitely think when he goes back to watch the tape, he'll say that I should have been a little more defensive. Felt like he was just his go-to fighting stance was it looks reminiscent, Zach, of our beloved Fighting Irish, a little bit lower hands right out here. And so in the commentary, we're talking about, like, should Travis try to lead with something else so we can open that right up? But he didn't necessarily need to do it, because as soon as, like Connor mentioned, as soon as he waits for his opportunity and just counter punch it was just right there. So he didn't really need to do anything to set it up. So I thought that was a good job by him to stick with what was working, but it also left me intrigued to see what else he has in his bag, because as you guys have both mentioned, both of these fighters were very calm, and it's more surprising when the debut guy is doing that, when he just seems really calm and calculated, seemed like he had a game plan and stuck with it. And yeah, that moment where he caught Carson and Carson did like the Triple H kind of wavering on his feet for half a second, it was very impressive, and he stuck with it and finished it. So I'm real excited to see him fight again.
Yeah, so am I. And kind of going off what you're saying, to disarm that kind of thing, I would have thrown an angle uppercut. I know a lot of people probably still don't.
Yeah, Q called for that too. Yeah,
I would have thrown that angle uppercut. It's just when you've got those hands open like that and they're kind of like that, it's just a nice easy boop, just right up in there. Get a nice little touch, just a nice little boop, opens things up. Wade, what were your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I was thinking that Carson would use his wrestling background, work that grappling, but that wasn't the case. He was very reserved, and I don't know, he was trying to save his cardio for the long run. And Travis came in there with caution, really. It was his debut, so he didn't want to overexert like normal debuters come out there just to swing in. He was more calculated, which is nice to see, because usually you don't see debuters calculating their moves a little bit and thinking about the whole fight. And he caught him with that right that really rocked him. And it was a good debut show for Travis.
It was, and I'm looking forward to seeing both these guys because we've seen Carson before, so I'm hoping we can see Travis again as well as Carson on another Carnage Fight Series show. So then moving on to the next bout, Tyler Anderson versus Rashawn Walls. Now this one started off feisty. Let me just say that this came out with a lot of energy. And I didn't think it was going to make it past the first round, but it ended up going to the second round. And Tyler ended up winning by tap. Rashawn, he ended up tapping. I'm not quite sure. He was holding his shoulder and tapped from that. Wade, Kevin, we're going to go to Kevin first. We're going to night circle. I had a pattern going on here. I messed it up. Yeah, Kevin, what were your thoughts on this fight, especially starting off?
Yeah, it was an incredible fight. It's one you hate to see it end the way that it ended. We had a hard time determining exactly what happened, but I think it was something along the lines of Rashawn was trying to slam Tyler down, I believe, who was sort of countering in that process and was doing his own grappling on the way down and sort of shifting his weight and everything. So I don't know if that's what did damage to Rashawn's shoulder. But yeah, it was difficult to see from our angle, but it was unfortunate to see one go down that way because those two were really going at it. And it was almost over in that first round as well. But that was just an incredible bout. And another debut in there with Tyler. He looked great for a guy having a debut. And I really feel for Rashawn Walls because the last time we called one of his fights, I believe it was a kickboxing match. And I think it was his right shoulder that he injured. He lost that bout in between rounds because of an injury. So I just wish him a speedy recovery. And it seems like he's gotten both shoulders out of the way now. So hopefully the bad luck is over and he'll be able to get back at it soon.
Yeah, I agree. I'm hoping that he's done with his injuries. He can come back strong because he's an exciting fighter to watch. He is. Both of them.
Exciting person to be around. Did you guys see I almost forgot to mention this. I know Wade saw them, but Zach, did you see his weigh-in photos? Because he insisted, and I'm glad he did, that we do a few different takes. And he showed up with a Friday the 13th t-shirt on, which just has the mask on it, and he like folded it up and was taking, he really wanted to use that. And, the production truck didn't go with those, but they were incredible. I sent them to him. And so, yeah, it just had a ton of energy. Seems like a very energetic guy. And at least, before the event, he was a lot of fun to be around. So hopefully he's back soon.
Yes. Yeah. I'm hoping he's good on his injuries. Everything gets healed up and he can come back. I want to watch him again. Wade, what were your takes on this bout?
Yeah, I love the energy that they opened up with, and you just like, there's going to be some fireworks happening here soon. Like you said, I didn't think it was going to come out that first, and then went into that second, and yeah, Walls was like slamming him. That's why I think just like made it jarred his shoulder. Yeah, it sucks, man. Just injuries. As my wife would say, she's a PTA. Got to do your shoulder rotator cuff exercises. She yells at me all the time for it. So get to that and do that every single day. Strengthen those shoulders up, and he can slam all he wants.
Yeah, we'll have to get Chloe on the team and start educating people here soon. So, yep. Connor, what was your takes on this bout?
Like I said, I love the start. Like everybody said, they came out hot. Rashawn, very entertaining guy, brings a lot of energy, and I do got to mention, because when I watched it, I said it in my head as Kev said it. He threw his sweet chin music right to the chest, and I really enjoyed that. I said it in my head, and as soon as I said it, Kev goes, "Oh, sweet chin music!" So I love that. You don't see a lot of people, go for stuff like that, especially on the amateur level. And Rashawn is really trying to mix in his wrestling as well. He almost had a takedown in the first, like he had it, and then Tyler was able to turn it into a sprawl, which was very impressive. So they came out hot, and Tyler's wrestling defense, I didn't know how that was going to be. Looked really good, especially when you got a big guy like Rashawn diving at your legs. So I was really impressed with that. And like I said, I just wish it could have gone on longer because I feel that fight would have continued to be entertaining. Unfortunately, like we talked about, Rashawn's shoulder seemed to pop or whatever it was that it did, and he knew it wasn't worth fighting for with that shoulder popping out. So he probably made the right call at the end of the day. Get out of there with a loss, but you get to keep your shoulder. So I think he made the right call.
Yeah, and kudos to Tyler. You did a fantastic job. I know we're talking a lot about Rashawn right here, but Tyler, as a debut guy, did a fantastic job. He was in there. He's posed, especially dealing with somebody who is as energetic and violent as Rashawn is, because he comes out when he comes out to hurt you. So Tyler did a fantastic job of dealing with that and inflicting his own pain when he needed to. Then moving on to the last bout of our prelims, Bryce Spoon versus Nate Murphy. This was done in the first round by guillotine choke. So this was the first one, but not the last guillotine choke that we're going to see tonight. Connor, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts on this bout?
I was very curious about this bout. These are guys getting a little bit closer to my weight class, so I like to watch those guys go at it. But Nate, I've always been very impressed with Nate and this work that he's put in. And I was curious to see where Bryce was at after having a layoff for so long. And I knew he was going to try to bring his wrestling background. I did a grappling match once against Bryce. He took a lot of shots on me, so I figured that was going to be his game plan. And you could tell that he has the wrestling background, but it's an amateur wrestling background because he shot with his head on the outside, leaves his neck exposed for Nate to catch that guillotine, which I respect Nate for keeping that. A lot of guys will go for it, and then they'll realize it's not there and he's not going to get it. He knew that he had it, was able to crank it until he found the right angle to get that tight, and Bryce fought it as long as he could, but there's only so long you can fight before the windows slowly close around your eyes and it's time to tap. So Nate took full advantage of that shot and got himself a nice little guillotine, and that moves him to 3-1 now, I believe, as an amateur. So he's got himself a good little streak going.
He does. And that was a very quick, if I'm not mistaken, that was a very quick fight. Like that was right off the rip. I'm pretty sure Bryce went for that takedown and Nate just caught him. Wade, your thoughts?
Yeah, like Connor was saying, it was just like an amateur mistake where you wrestle and you put that head outside shot. You don't angle yourself to be able to defend that guillotine. Yeah, your neck's going to be exposed every single time, and Nate took advantage of that and secured that guillotine. And like Diamond Poirier, he loves that guillotine. So you just got to always think about your neck. If you're going to do that, take a shot, try to take them down, get your hips on the opposite side so then they can't sink that guillotine in right.
Yeah, right. Wise words from the wrestler of the crew here. So, Kevin, what were your thoughts on this bout, sir?
Yeah, not much to add. I'm impressed. Coming in, I was thinking, Nate would probably have the advantage in the stand-up game, and so was happy for him early on in his career to see him just go with what was offered to him and get the win via guillotine. So very impressed, and I think we'll see Bryce here again soon. Saw a little bit of Bryce during our last striking and grappling, and so I think another bout or two we'll get a chance to see what he can do with a few more minutes in the octagon. So tough break for him, but great work for Nate, and he's got some momentum now. So we'll keep an eye out for his next bout. I'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah, because remember, Bryce hasn't fought for I think a couple years, so that ring rust is a real thing. So you always got to be wary about that when you're coming off of a couple years of inactivity in the cage. Moving on to the main card, we have Josh Frazier versus Tristan Houston. This again was done in the first round. Different submission though, rear naked choke. We'll start with you, Wade. What were your thoughts on this Frazier versus Houston bout?
Yeah, didn't know much about Tristan coming in. We've seen Josh Frazier, and he kind of used his experience to control his positioning and locked up that rear naked choke, and that's all she wrote. I think it was a pretty quick one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he just used his experience, used his knowledge to get positioning and sunk that right in real quick, and that was all she wrote.
It was another quick one. Again, this was a very quick night with some quick finishes. Kevin, let's run over to you, buddy. What was your thoughts on this bout?
Yeah, this one, I have some similar feelings. So sorry if this sounds repetitive, but from the first fight I watched of Josh Frazier's, I think he knocked his opponent out in about 15 seconds. And so I've also seen him do battle. I believe it was he fight Jay Bashaw in kickboxing not too long ago. And so I know he's got a good stand-up game. And we know, of course, some of the guys he's been working with at Demolition. So I was impressed for him to see him get a submission because I have known from what I've seen, I've known him to be a good striker, and I just sort of assumed that's where he would want to be. So I think it's great at this level when you are able to win fights in multiple ways. It really can make you it makes your path to the pros and your future fights, I think, just that much better when you know that you've got the confidence to have won by submission. I've even a decision. I think there's a lot to be learned from that as well. Not every fight can be a finish. So yeah, I was impressed. Another quick one. So I'd like to see Tristan fight again because we didn't get to see a whole lot of what he could do. I felt like Josh was pretty much in control from that opening bell. So good work from Josh Frazier, and looking forward to his next bout.
Yeah, I agree with you. Connor, what were your thoughts?
I feel this fight just showed the levels and experience levels in MMA. Josh was just a more experienced guy. Like I said, he takes this stuff seriously. He's got a good crew around him, good team around him, and I feel that he imposed his will and intimidated Tristan a lot. I feel Tristan, I could tell by his striking in the beginning, he was a little nervous. Like he came out throwing a lot of kicks because I don't think he wanted to get close. He didn't want to get close to Josh and caught with them punches. And that's why some of the shots that he took were a little questionable shots because he just wanted to get away from the hands of Josh Frazier, I feel, and taking those, desperation shots, as I would call them, is what led to him getting his back taken from Josh. And then he's scared of these hands. Now all of a sudden the guy that he thought was going to punch him in the face is now trying to choke him out. So it just showed the level and experience that Josh had over him, I believe, at this point.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. Then moving on to our co-main event, we had James Gibson versus Gabe Harris. This, once again, was done in the first round, but with a standing guillotine. Kevin, let's start with you. What were your thoughts on this? Another guillotine, but standing submission.
Yeah, this was good work from Gabe Harris. It's be interesting to see more of his fights. I feel like we've had at least one of his previously, but interested to see more of him because we see a lot of James Gibson, and I'm yearning for the day of that Stockton slap, Zach. At this point, I almost want to lay the blame of this defeat at your feet. I feel like you may have jinxed ever since you pulled that Nate Diaz card, or poor Gibby, as as his teammates call him, has had no luck. He got he lost one with the blow to the back of the head, lost this one here, but no, good work from Gabe. And I think, obviously, I know we'll see Gibson again, but keep an eye out for Gabe Harris. I was impressed.
It's just because he hasn't done the Stockton slap that he's having this bad luck. Once he does the slap, all the luck's going to come to him because he's gonna channel that inner Nate Diaz. Okay, that's what's going to happen. I'm just telling you, that's what's going to happen. Wait, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yep, I was waiting for that Stockton slap because you put it on him, and now, hey, you put it on him, and I think he was coming by the production table, and he's like, "You might see it. You might see it." Before the fight. So I was like, "Ooh, okay, let's see it. Let's see it." You just put bad luck on him.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Gibson. Connor, what were your thoughts on this bout?
I was very impressed with Gabriel Harris. He stayed very composed and found the finish when he needed it. It was two long, rangy guys. Gibson does tend to like to strike until he gets hit. Then he likes to dip and clinch. And I believe Harris knew that was going to happen. Gibson did it twice, and the second time he did it ends up kind of similar to what Bryce did as well. Shot, put the head on the wrong side, and you're going to get caught in that guillotine. And I like Gibson did fight it, but I like how Harris kept it locked in and then started throwing knees to the body as well, just to give Gibson something else to think about while he's getting choked at the same time. That's a lot, up here overflowing his mind, and ends up sinking that choke in even tighter and getting himself a nice victory. And like I said, does that put him to, is he 4-1 now, I believe, as an amateur? It's a really good record to have. I believe so.
Yes. He was 3-1 coming into this. Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
That's a good record to have. 4-1.
I feel like we gotta show some of these guys on our card here how to get out of a guillotine choke, guys. I'm saying we might have to do a Carnage Fight Series or Carnage Media day of how to do that, and then Wade can show them how to do a proper takedown where they're not going on the outside so they get their neck exposed so much.
There you go. We got a little bit of everything here.
And then going into our main event, which was Caden Hastings versus Sean Freeman. This was the rubber match. Going in, you had Caden Hastings getting the first win due to TKO back in, I think it was Fight Before Christmas 2 back in December. And then I'm trying to remember which Carnage Fight Series these two fought on before. Sean Freeman then got him back with a rear naked choke, I believe. So coming into this, they were 1-1. This was the only fight that went the distance, but it did end in a TKO for Sean Freeman. Connor, let's start with you. What were your thoughts on this main event and this rubber match?
I was very excited. Obviously, like I said, we talked about it all the time. They're 1-1 against each other. I got to give a lot of credit to Sean. Obviously, he got the win, but I think he doesn't get enough credit. Like you see him, you talk to him, he seems like a goofy kid, but he was smart in that fight. He did stand and strike with Caden, knowing that Caden probably had the advantage on the feet, but he did really good at cage control and circling Caden's back to the cage. So when he was ready to clinch, it was right there. He couldn't scoot back. Caden was stuck against the cage. He used that a lot to get his takedowns, baited Caden in to throw some kicks to catch him and get some takedowns. It was a very smart game plan from Sean Freeman, and it ended up getting him a win. And I think he really earned it. Like I said, that was the especially on this card that I saw where you could tell someone had a game plan and they stuck to it throughout all 3 rounds, and it paid off and got the victory in the rubber match and another victory on his record. And now he's calling for a title shot, if I remember right. So Sean Freeman's got a lot going for him right now.
He does. And like you said, I agree with you because Caden couldn't get his back away from the cage the entire fight. I mean, he even tried moving, and Sean did a beautiful job of just cutting off the ring and not allowing Caden to do anything that he wanted or allowing Caden to use his length to his advantage. Wade, what were your thoughts on this bout?
Oh, yeah, this is a very entertaining main event. And it held true to our predictions and Sean's prediction, not going all to the judges. I want to say, I mean, we expected Caden to come in there, throw his hands. He's great on his feet, great at kickboxing. But Sean came in there, like Connor said, with that game plan. But his hands look pretty good, though. It looks like he's been working, he's been improving. And, yeah, the way to position Caden into that fence so he couldn't move to get those takedowns was genius. Like, that was good fight IQ, and you see him progressing. So kudos to him, and way to finish up that rubber match.
Yeah, and like you said, Caden's very good at kickboxing, and he tried to do a high kick, which ended up a head kick, and they took 2 points from him. So he knew, given that happened in the third round, he knew he had to get a finish. And I think Sean knew that, and Sean just capitalized on that, which I'll be honest, I knew that 2 point was coming because in the fighter meeting beforehand, the ref even said, he goes, this is your one and only warning. If you guys do a head kick, it will be 2 points. There will be no warning inside the cage, and that's exactly what happened. Kevin, what were your thoughts on this bout?
Well, you kind of just took mine. So I will just say to that end, I was impressed with Sean and happy to see him go for the finish, because whether you had it scored at that point 2 rounds for Sean, or if you had it 1-1, those 2 points that Hastings lost, pretty much everybody in the room at that point knew that once that bell rung, it was going to be Sean's hand that got raised unless Caden got the knockout. And so credit to Sean for not getting too defensive, for not just sitting back and saying, well, all I really have to do is be here when the bell rings. So for him to go and get the finish, I thought was very impressive. And it does leave the matter settled. But I will say this, gentlemen, I will add to this the fact that during the face-off photo session, I asked them both, how they felt about the trilogy, and just mentioned, for whatever it was worth, that it was a very bittersweet day for me because I get to see the culmination of their rivalry, but also like, dang, man, you guys aren't going to fight again. And wouldn't you know it, they both entertained the idea of linking back up in the pros to fight one more time. So a couple of crazy guys willing to do battle. So I think the future could be very bright for both young men. But as you guys said, kudos to Sean. He clearly had a game plan and executed it. And I think based off what we talked to him about in the interviews and just seeing it out there for myself, that, yeah, he picked up what he learned from fight 2 and figured out a way to apply it and maybe even improve upon it. So great work for him.
Yeah, and this is only the second fight that Sean has actually won by strikes. Every other one, he's normally submitted them. He doesn't go the distance at all in any of his fights, win, lose, or draw. It's a finish, and this is only the second fight that he's finished with punches, which I like to see. I like to see, like you were talking about before with Josh Frazier, you like to see a stand-up guy be able to get down on the ground and show that skill set. It was nice to see Sean do the same thing, but in the opposite. He's normally a finisher on the ground. I mean, technically it was on the ground because he was in full mount, but he was using punches instead of submission. So it's nice to kind of see these guys grow as we've been watching them. The past 3 years we've been doing this. It's nice to see these guys grow and where they're good at and where they're getting better at when they're weak points. So it was a fantastic card. My question, because I already know my answer, what was your guys' fight of the night? Who wants to start first? I won't point it out. Who wants to start it first? Huh? Which one? Anybody?
I'll go.
All right.
Gotta go. The main event. Main event for sure was just back and forth, high IQ, just a good display of mixed martial arts. So,
yeah,
I gotta go. Caden, Sean, rubber match.
Yeah, Connor, do you have your fight of the night?
Yeah, I want to be different, but I can't, man. It's that main event. When you got all these fights that don't, like we talked about, only like 2 of them besides the main event made it out of the first round. It's hard to give that fight of the night because it's less than 3 minutes long. This goes to 3 rounds. It was a very entertaining fight. So I would say, in my opinion, that'd be fight of the night. But I do want to say, if we were to do a performance of the night, I believe I would give that to Josh Frazier and the way he looked in his fight. Very dominant, showed that he's more than just a striker and gets a submission. So I do want to throw that out there for Josh. I believe he would be a performance of the night as well.
Jeff?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to be an echo here on both counts. The main event to me was the fight of the night, and I agree with Connor that Josh Frazier, very likely performance of the night. The one thing I will say is I think potentially if it hadn't been for that injury, I think Tyler Anderson and Rayshawn Walls were well on their way to giving us a worthy contender for fight of the night. Had that one gone either later into the second or, if it had gotten into the third round, I think it could have been close.
And yeah, again, I think I'm just echoing exactly what you guys said because I agree. Caden Hastings versus Sean Freeman was my fight of the night. It was a great fight, went 3 rounds, almost the full 3 rounds. But, I expected that coming from these two meeting for the third time. When you fought somebody so many times, you kind of know how they act, what they do. And I thought that, Sean Freeman just did a fantastic job of prepping for this fight. Now let's go to TKO of the night. Does anybody have their TKO of the night? Because we didn't have any knockouts, full on knockouts, even though TKO is still a knockout. But I'll go with mine. I'm gonna go with Carson versus Travis because I thought that Travis did a fantastic job of setting up that right hand. He hit him, he stunned him, and then he came in and picked his shots perfectly. When he was covering up, he just picked those shots perfectly and got that TKO.
I would agree with that. I believe that was a great finish. Like you said, the setup that was really good. But I would like to shout out Tobias and his TKO as well, to know that he was in a good position and knew that he had Austin on the ropes to stick with what he had and not abandon it and get a first round finish is very impressive. So I'd like to give him his flowers as well.
Perfect. Wade.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go with Travis as well, just because his debut, he said he was just getting back into MMA and everything. So to be that calm, to be able to pick your shots and not get overzealous, that's a pretty good debut.
Yeah, I'd say so. Kevin, how about yourself?
Yeah, I've mentioned it before, but I will say again, maybe first runner-up to Sean Freeman simply for getting the TKO in the third round. But for me, as far as which actual physical feat impressed me the most, it was Travis, because it was a great strike that stunned Carson at the very least. And then, as you mentioned, he finished it up. And not only was he aggressive in seeing the moment, but, those were a lot of close quarter uppercuts he was throwing, which, again, was good to see that ring awareness from a guy making his debut, somebody who's not as experienced as the rest, for him to know what strikes to throw to go ahead and get that one finished. So great work from him.
Yeah. And then last but not least, the submission of the night. Who do you guys have?
Got to go Josh Frazier.
You going with Frazier?
Yeah, you got to be there when normally you see him striking and you see a different aspect of his game, and came in there with that rear naked choke. So I'm going to give it to him.
All right. Kev, do you have your submission of the night?
Yeah, I think it's a retweet. No credit taken away from Gabe or from Nate, but you guys also illustrated already sort of what led to those standing guillotines. So I will go ahead and give the nod to Josh on this one as well.
Connor.
Well, if you would have asked me first, I would have said Josh. But since these two said Josh, I'm gonna mix it up, and I'm gonna give it to Gabriel Harris, because what I think made his guillotine, what I really liked about it, was the knees that he threw in as it was standing, walked it around till he's getting the lock, and as he's doing it, ripping those knees to the body. Like I said, just makes it even harder to defend those hands by your neck when you're getting kneed in the liver. So I'll give it to Gabriel Harris for the creativity of the guillotine.
All right. Well, I don't care. I'll follow suit. I'm going with Josh Frazier and Tristan. I've got no problem following suit. I like what I like, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. So kudos to Frazier. So rundown, I think the majority of us had Caden Hastings, Sean Freeman as the fight of the night. Majority of us had Carson versus Travis as TKO or knockout of the night. And then the majority of us had Josh Frazier versus Tristan Houston as the submission of the night. So I don't know about you guys. We had a great night of fights. And hey, the next time that you will see anything from Carnage Fight Series, it's going to be something new. It's going to be something new that we haven't done before. And it is Carnage Fight Series Ring Wars. And we were coming in November to do that. Now, what that is it's going to be pro boxing and amateur kickboxing put all in one card. And I know this is going to get Kevin all kinds of excited because he misses when we used to do kickboxing all the time. Kevin, how excited are you to actually get back to us doing kickboxing? I know we did a kickboxing show back this summer in July, but now that we're doing it, how excited are you?
Well, make no mistake, Zach. This is not the final step in any direction. All right. This is a victory, yes, and one that I will celebrate with you guys at a certain point. But the mission is not over, gentlemen. I will not rest until we are back to full-time kickboxing cards. All right. I want more kickboxing in Ohio, around or across the United States and around the globe itself. You know, I love some kickboxing, but this will certainly do in the meantime. And that's putting it lightly, I think. All right. I don't want to undercut it by any means. You get the best of both worlds now. You get kickboxing, get you geared up for the pro boxing. So I'm very excited about it, but be ready for the kickboxing takeover. All right. One of these days, this whole card, the ring war will be won by the kickboxers. I'm calling it right now.
Now, hey, the good news about this is the amateurs, they get a kick in the head. Hey, they get a kick in the head, but yet you can't do an MMA in Ohio. Don't get it. I don't understand it.
That's wild.
Whatever. So but maybe if we're lucky, if Connor doesn't have to corner that night because he's got teammates on it, maybe we can see him at the commentary desk. I don't know.
I would love that. I would love that. You know, I'm down. I'm always down for some.
Yeah. Well, hey, as long as Johnny doesn't have you in the corner, corner people, I think we might. So
absolutely, I'll be there regardless. That's for sure.
Wait, I mean, hey, we haven't heard from you. What's your thoughts on this, buddy? I mean, shoot.
Oh, it gives the nostalgia. That's where we started, and to come back to kickboxing, ended off with some pro boxing. It just gives that nostalgia. Man. I'm excited to get back to the roots again. But
yeah,
I love it.
Wow. I'm excited. That's going to be in November. And hey, anybody watching, if they're interested in jumping on that card, hey, hit us up, Carnage Media, ppv@gmail.com. You can email us, or heck, you can send us on any of our socials. You can reach out to us and we can get you matched up. So other than that, I think the only other thing that we've got coming up is October 4th, where we are going to be doing something a little bit different we normally don't do. It's going to be a tournament style boxing. So there's going to be no commentary. It's going to be 2 rings at once going off. So if you like boxing and you just want to watch it, you're going to have a split screen of 2 different boxing matches just going off. So nonstop action. As soon as those guys are done, they're kicking them out, bringing in the next guy. So there's going to be, no interviews, no nothing. It's just going to be constant rotation, fighter after fighter after fighter. So if you're a big boxing fan, we will have that October 4th for you on CarnageMediaPPV.com. You'll be able to go and purchase your pay-per-view there. And then also keep a lookout on CarnageMediaPPV.com for any articles that Clayton is putting out, because he's always putting them out before all of our stuff, and he's even doing other people's stuff. So if you or someone else has any card that you want an article written on, contact us. We would love to do an article for any of your guys' promotions. So reach out to us, and hey, we'll take care of you. Whether either it's Kevin or Clayton, both of them like this stuff. And always thanks for Clayton for being our editor-in-chief over here, always making sure we've got the right stuff and putting all the links and stuff in it. So I'm always appreciated when I read through it. I'm like, oh, hey, look, I can click on this. I go right to our YouTube channel and look at all the stuff. So I know he puts a lot of time and energy into that. So Kevin, thank you for that. Boys, you guys have anything else?
I do.
No?
I would like to. We had the boxing show on Friday. I want to be a little selfish here and shout
right.
out my teammates that participated in that show. They went 4-0 on the night, and special shout out to my guy Justin Seipel getting performance of the night with his first round knockout in his fight. So shout out to my guys at the Great Smileback Training Center for their performances on Friday at the Sniper Series 2 boxing show. Proud of my boy.
Did he take you with you to get his tacos?
I don't know if we all went and ate after as well. So he went and got his tacos, and then I believe we also went and ate as well. So he kept those to himself. He earned it.
He didn't share. Okay.
Well, if I was scared to try to take anything from him after what he did in the boxing match. I'm not getting caught with that right hand. That's not happening to me.
I will say,
Stuff at the gym.
Connor called it too, and my only regret is I wasn't sure what he was saying to me. So normally if anybody comes up to the commentary desk, I just immediately mute just to be safe, And so, but Connor came up to me. He's like, dude, Justin's a bad dude. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of he's about to win performance of the night. and so we shouted out on commentary, but now I know going forward, Connor, just so you know, I will leave that mic hot next time.
Oh yeah, I would never lead you wrong. I trained with Justin. I knew what was coming, and I knew that. Like I said, I told you Justin Seipel is a bad man, so I knew what was coming. I knew it.
Great show, though, by the way, overall. I mean, make sure you guys, if you want to catch those on our YouTube channel. So right when you're done here, some of the fights are going out. I believe Zach is going every other right now. So you'll have a Sniper Series 2 bout one day, and then the Route 30 Rumble the other day. But yeah, great card overall. A lot of good talent on there. And it was good to see the effort in the presentation. I thought was great too. So Gates Cook and company did a lot of work. I was impressed. Honestly, I was a little jealous of the VIP tables and the judges table. Zach, Wade, let me ask you a question, guys, real quick. The next time you guys see a promoter is giving candy to the commission, can you just lie about what's going on at my table so that I too? I'm not asking you to ask them to give the commentary guys candy. I'm just saying, can you just pretend that I am also a judge so I can get a couple of Kit Kats thrown at me?
For real.
First off, I didn't even know there was candy given out.
Yeah.
Well, I always know when there's candy being given out. Wade, come on.
Yeah.
Wade's mad now because he's like, "What candy?
See?
I'm at a
When do
table
we
too.
get
Come on.
candy?"
That's what I'm saying. You guys, yeah, guys, this is the commission's computer. This is home base.
They
Give
took
us a
care of
couple reasons.
everybody. My fighters got T-shirts and cookies and everything. Like, they took care of everybody. It was very respectful and very well ran. I enjoyed being there, and I'm glad I made the trip up there.
Well, all right. Well, hey, Kev, where can they find you, buddy?
Oh, you can find me right here. I mean, there's a lot of places you can find me, but the main one that I'm interested in telling you about is right here. In just 10 short days, I believe it's only 9 more sleeps for me, gentlemen. Very excited about that. Benchmark Pro Wrestling Cataclysm over at Venue 18, and we will, of course, be filming it, and then I get to bust out the commentary afterwards. No joke, maybe my favorite job that I've ever had my entire life. So I am very excited about that. I did see that some of the match footage from Fallout has been getting posted to the Benchmark YouTube channel, and Brandon Day posted his fight to his YouTube channel. So I'm hoping to be able to piece that together so we can show it to all of you, because the buildup happened on Carnage Media, and then the championship rematch happened on a night where we were at the Cube filming pro boxing, so we weren't able to be there. So there is a bit of a gap in the coverage, but I'm working on that for you. So keep an eye out, throw those notifications on if you don't want to miss those. And in the meantime, we've got 2 full pro wrestling shows from Benchmark, so you can go check out the individual matches or the full shows themselves. Ton of fun bringing that to you guys, and the product keeps getting better, so I cannot wait for next weekend.
Wonderful. Con, where can they find you, buddy?
As always, you guys can find me here every Wednesday with my boys here talking about all things MMA, pro wrestling, whatever it is we're talking about that day. You can catch me cornering, commentating, coaching. I do a little bit of everything. and hopefully you'll catch me back in the cage fighting again. Early 2026 is the goal. I'd like to be back fighting again, getting myself back down to 125 pounds.
Ooh.
Quite far away from it right now, but that was the plan.
Didn't
That
I
was the
see
plan.
you were bulking up to like 150 something?
I may or may not have touched 155 the other day. That's the word on the street. I don't know. But I'll be back down at 125 making weight like I always do. So look
You're
out for
talking
that.
about the same guy who asked to join a heavyweight kickboxing tournament, going down to 125. What is this, Connor?
Them guys get big, man. They get big. Even at 25, sometimes they get big. So I'll be bulking up now, cutting back down to 25, hopefully in 2026. And then, as always, you guys can follow me on Instagram at I.am_Connor Smith. Again, posting all things about my life, fighting, Carnage Media, commentating, coaching, cornering, whatever it is that I'm doing.
Perfect. Wade, where can they find you?
As always, here with you guys, Wednesday, 7:30, Carnage Unleashed. And as well, you may not see me, but I am always at the shows, doing the pay-per-views and the ones and twos. So before the show, you can always give me a shout, say hello. As well, if you want to keep up with any of our upcoming shows, or go to carnagemediappv.com. If you want to see any of our past shows, always check out the YouTube page, because I don't know about any other fight page, but we give you fights every day.
Every day. And like Wade said, you might not see Wade during the shows, but you will see me running around like a chick with my head cut off, trying to get everything in order. That's where you'll see me, at least during the shows. Other than that, you'll find me here with these boys talking all kinds of combat sports stuff, and then also listening to Kev and Connor talk about WWE, because I am not a mark like these boys, and I don't know anything besides I'm not a mark. So
he learned one term and has not stopped using it.
Yeah. Kevin's slowly teaching me about it, okay? So eventually I'll be able to sit here and know all the lingo when it comes to wrestling. Kevin's my coach, okay? He's coaching me very slowly but very well.
That's awesome.
All right, boys. Till next week. You guys have a good time.
Catch ya.